Honorable President Kenyatta, Excellencies, Madam President of the UCLGA, I am delighted to wish you a happy and productive African Mayors Climate Day. Much as I would have liked to be with you at this important event in person, I am joining you from the head office of the Global Center on Adaptation, the world's largest floating office, which is located in the city of Rotterdam, the Netherlands. This example of innovative design, built with the climate in mind, aims to inspire others to adopt climate-resilient infrastructure and take decisions when planning urban spaces that not only deliver economic growth and jobs, but also help prepare for the impact of climate change. This has a special relevance for Africa because the continent has the fastest urban growth rate in the world. As you know, about 40% of the population of sub-Saharan Africa lives in cities, nearly double the number from 1980. This is a trend that will only continue to pick up speed as we approach the middle of the century. By 2050, an estimated 2 billion Africans will be living in cities. And unless we take action now, 60% of them in shanty towns with severely limited resources, facing precarious futures at risk from floods, droughts, heat waves, and disease. But Africa is also blessed with some special advantages that make choosing a green growth path easier to achieve, thanks to its rapidly growing labor force and its abundant natural resources. Population growth on coastal plains is rising at more than double the world average. And these low-lying areas are especially vulnerable to rising sea levels, rising and in many areas increased flood frequency. Adaptation is a first-order priority because once cities begin to grow and establish themselves, it is very difficult to change their shape. By taking action now, adaptation measures can be hugely cost-effective, with the potential to kickstart a positively reinforcing cycle of benefits. The latest IPCC report was the starkest warning to date that Africa is highly vulnerable to climate change. Its cities are essential building blocks, though, in the shift towards low emission and climate resilient development. A recent study suggests that the number of people that will be at risk from dangerous and lethal health conditions will be between 20 and 50 times higher at the end of the century compared to the situation today, with 79 African cities falling in the extreme risk category of heat exposure. And as the COVID pandemic has demonstrated, vulnerability is higher in urban settings. And there are many things that we can do right now to be more resilient to these future shocks. In fact, given the early stages of urbanization in most sub-Saharan African cities, you have a unique opportunity to apply low-cost actions that will pay off in the long term. For example, across cities in Gabon, Guinea, Madagascar, Tunisia, and Tanzania, GCA is working with the African Development Bank to assess and map climate risk to identify early actions which can build resilience. And in Uganda, the GCA is supporting local governments to increase the climate resilience of water services for over 700,000 people living in small towns and villages. With the World Bank, we are working in Chad on a $150 million urban resilience project for N'Djamena. And in Liberia, GCA is supporting the city of Monrovia as it works with local communities in building a greener and particularly more climate resilient future. Climate risk assessments of critical weaknesses in urban infrastructure, preventing urban sprawl on floodplains, and protecting mangroves and wetlands are all low-cost actions that deliver high-yielding results. But African cities will also need more comprehensive adaptation and resilience strategies, including capacity strengthening, new financial mechanisms, and new technologies to build smarter cities. GCA, in partnership with the United Cities and local government of Africa, is developing an ambitious work program to drive urban climate adaptations. And excellencies, there is much work ahead of us if we are to adapt successfully to a future that will be more complex and more challenging. But there is no alternative if we want to have any future at all for our children and their children. In other words, to use an African proverb, tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. It will require massive investment, but if done right, there are no limits to the opportunities for rising productivity, growing economic benefits, and poverty elimination. The Africa Adaptation Acceleration Program, or AAAP, which the GCA has developed with the African Development Bank and the African Union, will provide $25 billion of investments in adapting to a rapidly changing climate. Africa is on the front line of the climate emergency, but adapting successfully will bring the continent enormous benefits. We stand ready to assist you in this vital endeavor. I thank you.